What's up, everybody? Jensen Cummings here on this Sunday. Excited to be here as always. We are talking Be Kind in the Kitchen with Alan Plemmons, chef of Iamys and number 5 Bistro and Bar in Sedalia, Missouri. Alan, thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We're excited. All right, we're going to be talking. This is Best Served Together, right? Where we're looking for those unsung hospitality heroes and Be Kind in the Kitchen, something we're going to talk about. I'm very fascinated in that. It was clearly a part of your ethos, so we're going to get into that, and I'm hoping we will be introduced to even more of those unsung hospitality heroes. So tell us, Alan, specifically, when somebody comes to Sedalia, they walk into the doors of Iamys, number 5 Bistro, what can they expect? What are you guys all about?
So the first thing that you see when you come in, you're going to see big pictures of the building before it was refurbished. It's a 165-year-old building. It was the 5th Levi factory in America. It's where we get the number 5 Bistro and Bar from.
The 5th Levi jeans factory in the country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So there's a lot of history here.
Yeah.
The train that's 200 feet in front of me right now used to go right through the building. Crazy stuff. Sedalia has a lot of rich history anyway, but the Levi factory itself has a very fruitful history. So you walk in, and immediately you're going into the foyer. The ground has the original wood, everything around it. To the right, we have a record and bookstore. To the left, we have the Oxhorn Market, which is sandwiches, protein bowls, salads.
Does it feel like you're walking into a food hall a little bit? Is that a little bit of the vibe? Okay.
It kind of, yeah, because so there's a total of 3 businesses on the first floor. So the book and record store, Oxhorn Market, and then number 5 Bistro and Bar.
Gotcha.
So we have a lot of cool stuff going on, a lot of interesting things that you're not going to see anywhere else in Missouri, let alone, I think, in most places in America.
Nice. So, all right, hold on to that. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Now you piqued my interest for sure. So we got a little understanding of what they can expect going into Sedalia, the Levi's number 5 factory. I think that's super fascinating. Take us back though, for you. When did you first catch the hospitality bug? When did you get into this crazy industry?
So Memorial Day weekend, 2007. It was summer break. I was 14. My dad.
Very specific time frame. You knew exactly. When. Wow.
Yeah. So, so my dad woke me up off the couch because I had been playing video games all night or something like that. And he's like, "My dishwasher quit, so I need you to come in." And I was like, "Cool. Yeah, like I'll just have some extra money for the summer." And then, the summer came and it was crazy. It's a lake restaurant, Lake of the Ozarks.
Yep.
I'm sure it's a really hot topic in America right now because of the COVID thing. But the Lake Bar and Grill is Dog Days Bar and Grill. Wonderful owners. They're from Iowa, Mark and Brian Barrett. Good guys. But they're busy. They're one of the busiest places at the lake. Wow. So I was doing dishes for their 2 different kitchens, hauling ass, trying to do the best I can at 14. Never stepped foot in a kitchen before. So the adrenaline of it really I fell in love with that. And then ever since then,
it's intense, right? But it fires you up. We're like all in or all out type mentality in the industry.
Exactly.
When you get that energy, you like crave it. It's a little bit addicting.
Yeah. It's kind of a feeling that you're going to have to like do. You can't really explain it to people that have never done it before. So
true. So was your dad who's running the kitchen, general manager, owner of the restaurant?
So
what was that?
He was just a cook.
Awesome.
Him and I call him my second dad, Travis, his best friend. They both worked there. So I got volunteered to do the dishes. But I'm glad too because here I am 13 years later, living my best life anyway.
Big fan of everything you're talking about. So dad's in the kitchen. He has you come down and work in the kitchen because the dishwasher didn't show up. We all know that story. We all know the no call, no show. And after that, was it like, all right, cool kid, you got a job and like, let's make some summer money? Was it, I'm excited for you to get in the industry, or was it like, I've worked my ass off in this industry, it's crazy, I don't want you to have anything to do with it past?
So he was pretty protective.
He was.
He was.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So like, if I was out of the kitchen, like the kitchen he worked in for more than 30 minutes, like he was coming to get me from the other kitchen, and you know, so I think for the first 7 years I worked at that bar and grill.
Yeah.
After my dad passed away in 2010, everyone would just scream my name because that's what he would do until someone went and got me. So it was you know, I grew up in that bar and grill. I grew up with the Barretts. They own 2 other restaurants at the lake: Wobbly Boots, Roadhouse, and Shorty Pants Lounge. I've worked at all 3 of them throughout the years. So.
Got it. All right. It makes sense. You're a legacy. Mine too. My family's been in this game for 5 consecutive generations. 120 years we've been in the restaurant game. So I get it. It's interesting because I've never been told, like, when are you going to get a real job by the family, because the family has done all right in that. I'm fascinated in that always. It's why I asked the question. Was it like, I'm proud of you, kid, like, let's get in this industry, it's been good to me, or is it like, what the fuck are you thinking? Because look at how much I grind, and like, I'm not making any money, and yada yada. So we know those stories. So I'm fascinated in kind of the family dynamic of that.
Yeah.
Moving forward now, you're a 14-year-old kid, you're in the kitchen, you're hustling, you found your tribe, you found that energy that you needed. Move us forward a couple spots. What are a couple highlights in the career that you want to tell us about?
Well, I wanted to mention this first and foremost. So I did go to culinary school.
Okay.
Anybody that's watching that wants to go to culinary school, great. I mean, if you really want to do it, that's awesome. But I have never gotten a job because I went to culinary school.
Interesting, yeah.
Not one time has anybody asked me about it. So just an FYI. And if you want to get the experience, go work in a restaurant. Go knock on back doors of restaurants. Hey, can I peel fucking potatoes for 6 hours for you? That's what I did during culinary school. When I wasn't in school, I would just go downtown Springfield, Missouri, and knock on back doors. Yeah, I got a lot of shit work, but I got a lot of experience. But highlights, I went to culinary school. I tried the corporate world after that. Worked at Outback Steakhouse, learned a lot of great business values there. It's a really great company to work for. My boss, Tracy Reimer, has had a huge impact on my life. I still talk to her to this day. She's a great woman. Taught me a lot of stuff. Probably the best boss I've ever had.
I love mentorship. How about this? What's something that you do in the kitchen today, or you teach others, or you mimic that you got from that time?
I mean, anything from how she runs the line to the front of house to how she does inventory, how we did scheduling. I mean, I've took so much from her. Yeah. So like, if the wheel's not broken, don't fix it. You know, she's always ran a smooth ship, and, you know, I just absorbed as much as I could from her. Cause she's full of talent still. I mean, to this day, she's a wise woman.
That's great. I love hearing that. Okay, so you did corporate, and then the way that you said corporate, it feels like you probably went away from corporate. It didn't feel like it was for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got married like a couple years ago. We were together since like freshman year, about as long as I've been in the industry. Wow. Worked corporate and paid bills and played the safe game for a while.
When did you go back off the deep end into the independent, chef-driven world?
2018. We got a divorce, which is fine. We're both happy now. It's good. You know, we're both living our best lives. So, but I quit my corporate job. I was like, I'm fucking through with this. I'm not doing this safe bullshit anymore. I started a personal chef business. As you can see here, it's my logo. Here and here.
Yes. Branded up. Nice. I like it.
Yeah. Joined a couple of Facebook groups for chefs. Started putting my shit out there more, marketing.
What are some of those groups? I'd love for people that are listening.
So the Learning Chef is by far the best group I've been in. Pro Chef U. There's an Artistic Soul Kitchen group as well. Those 3 groups are the main ones I am a regular at, but they're great. So I was posting pictures on the Learning Chef of like a Nashville chicken sandwich, like a basic sandwich, but it's delicious. And this woman contacts me from Vegas. She's like, "Hey, that's a really nice like chicken sandwich." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I can give you the recipe." She's like, "Well, I'm not that, fond of cooking." I was like, "Well, cool. I'm actually a personal chef. Like, if you ever need me to fly out to Vegas, like, I'd be happy to cook for you." It's like, "I'll even do the first round for free. You just pay for my flight, and you ain't got to pay me anything else." She wasn't ready at that time. She's actually a wonderful woman, Chanel Rivera. Helped me in my career a lot. She's a business coach. So we stay in touch. 2 weeks later, she contacts me. She's like, "Hey, I'm doing these business retreats." I was like, "Okay, that sounds interesting." She's like, "I do them for, anywhere from 10 to 20 women for a couple days." And I was like, "Cool." And she's like, "Would you want to do that?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "All you have to do is pay for my stay and the flight and the food. And like, that's it. Like, I want to just go out there. You're going to be impressed with what I have to offer. You'll definitely ask me back." So 2019, the summer, I flew down to Vegas and did 4 meals a day, a couple snacks for 4 to 5 days. It was a blast, and that's really when stuff took off.
I want to touch on something because I think this is really important. You offered and then did work for free. I think it's really great because what you did was you didn't devalue the work that you're doing. Sometimes there's that scenario, and I get it. You can't give everything away for free. Yet you didn't devalue it. You were investing in the relationship, right?
Exactly.
It was really important for you to meet and get connected with somebody that could unlock the door. Just the fact that you were willing to fly out, do the work for free, cover your costs, but do the work for free, your time, to somebody like Chanel, then leads to this opportunity, which leads to the next opportunity, the next opportunity, the next opportunity. So I want everybody who's thinking about personal chef, who's thinking about starting their food business, who has a food truck and they're just starting out trying to figure it out, connect to people. Number one thing you can do. Clearly, you're an all-in buyer on that philosophy, yes?
Yeah. So, and the same thing, because obviously I didn't start by flying to Vegas. That was like a year difference.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was doing prepared meals. And I would go to doctor's offices, lawyer offices, hospitals, dentists, any type of business I could, and I would hand out free meals. Be like, "Hey, here's my price sheet. Here's what I have to offer." It's a very customized meal setup. You just pick your protein, and we go from there. So I got a lot of business doing that. I would drive from St. Louis to Lake of the Ozarks, to Columbia, Missouri, to Kansas City, Missouri, to Springfield, Missouri, and deliver these meals. And I was like, fuck, like, I'm going to have to hire a delivery driver. Like, I'm not going to have time for this shit anymore. And so I never hired a delivery driver. I just kind of changed my focus to like private dinners, stuff like that. But I would do around these lake houses, and these lake houses are huge. Like, I would, if I didn't do this personal chef thing, I would never set foot in any of these houses because I'd be afraid to break something. They were so expensive. Like 13 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, 2 bars, like, something that like I've never even dreamed of. But I would do these private dinners, and these families would be like, "Wow, like, where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from here." They're like, "Well, this is crazy because we never thought that a place like this would have, an in-home chef of this."
Like they
nature.
were underestimating the talents of the chef in this market. They're like, "Are you from Vegas, LA, New York?" Like that was the expectation. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Understood.
And I'm by no means trying to boost my ego. I don't need to, but
but you had a little chip on your shoulder about it, right? I feel like
exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm from Missouri. Like, I can still fucking cook."
Let's go.
Yeah. And so word got out with the tourists because obviously Lake of the Ozarks is a huge tourist spot.
Yeah.
And fast forward to now, like, I'm still getting calls every day for the first 2 months of the summer. Basically, everyone's like, "Hey, can I book you? We're going to Lake of the Ozarks to cook, and we want you to cook for us." And so, like, I've been trying to take them as I go, but like in the process, just open these 2 restaurants up here. with these wonderful owners. So it's been a great run though. Like
I love it. You got the personal chef going, and I really, really appreciate, and I hope everyone's listening to the way that you went about the hustle. You're driving all over Missouri to make connections. You're flying to Vegas. You're doing anything and everything. I'm guessing you weren't swimming in cash. So to go somewhere and give away some free food just for the chance to interact with somebody, to maybe have them buy some food, that was a big risk for you. So I really appreciate that. I think
for sure.
That.
So I still worked like 35 hours a week at a barbecue place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was the experience and the exposure and all that made, the sleep deprivation worth it.
Good. I want to hear that. And then I want to get into something, the name of the episode, Be Kind in the Kitchen, because it was something that was really fascinating to me. Like, we forget about that so often. We've been talking about balance. So clearly you got the entrepreneurial spirit, you got the hustle, you got the work ethic, you got a little swagger, you got some skills, like all of that, super, super important. You found balance then with being kind in the kitchen. What does that mean to you when you're thinking about that, when you're working in that and applying that day to day? Like, how are you going about that? Give us the thinking behind being kind.
So I took this job for the sole purpose is to help change the industry. So the industry has a stigma of chewing people up and spitting it out. You know what I mean? The term bodies, when you're trying to find applicants, is thrown around too much.
Like literally, like there are a bunch of dead bodies already, dead men walking.
Exactly. Yeah. So I took this job and I told the owners, I was like, look, I'm taking this job. I want to win awards and I want to change the industry. That's it.
Like it. Yeah.
And so we're in the process of doing that stuff now. But an example of Be Kind in the Kitchen, like one of my cooks, she called me 4 days in advance. She's like, hey, can I take off and take my boyfriend out to dinner? Yeah, fucking of course you can. Like, I'll cover your shift. It's not a problem. It's a piece of cake. Enjoy your day.
Yeah. Like, here's a question that I have, because sometimes, a lot of times, and I've been guilty on this on both sides of the equation, I'm not willing to ask for that time off to go to the wedding, and then my now wife Betsy has to go by herself to her friend's wedding. Like, that happened multiple times throughout our lives. And then on the flip side, like, not, hazing somebody like, oh, really, you need some time off? Like, that they're less dedicated or committed because they want to take a Friday and a Saturday off. Like, talk about that dynamic. Was that a struggle? Did people trust you enough? How did you break through that? Because I'm sure there was a little bit of stigma to that interaction as well.
Yeah. So in my interviews, I interviewed 10 people since I've been here, and I've hired 7 of those 10. So
not because you were desperate, but because they were the right people.
They were the right people.
Yeah.
So when I put my job listings out, I explained it very thoughtfully, and I made sure everyone realized that if you're going to work here, you have to have the mentality that I have. You have to have the passion, you have to have the drive, and you have to know the goals. So the goals, first and foremost, win awards, change the industry.
Okay.
So, and every time I would interview, I would explain to them, hey, if you need a day off, or if you need to take care of your mental health or some shit like that, tell me. We'll work it out. Like, I'm not chewing people up. I'm not spitting them out. I'm trying to cultivate a team to where 4 years from now, when I do have my awards and the industry is changed, where I'm at least, I can, wipe my hands clean and go do my personal chef thing again.
And when you think about awards, I'm very fascinated in this, because I think having that goal and that destination, a little bit of the North Star, super important. I think winning awards for the sake of the awards is sometimes like self-indulgent. How do you balance that? Clearly you're a thoughtful guy and you're aware of that.
Yeah. So I think if I win awards, it's going to give me more exposure. And then the more exposure I have, the more reach I have to change the industry.
Yes. It gives you a platform that people are paying attention. You understand the attention graph. You have a little bit of focus on you, allows you to talk about shifting things in the industry, having the type of conversations you're having. Yeah, I really appreciate that. So what's one thing in the kitchen right now that your team would be like, I just love Alan for this? and let's say, and what's something that some goofy shit that you say they make fun of you for, and then later they quote you because it's just something that, you know, it's part of your vibe and culture. Give us a couple of those.
Oh shit.
Insight.
So I have a salmon dish on the menu.
Okay.
And I say salmon when I call shit out like that.
And on purpose, or it's just some draw?
Yeah, just on purpose. Yeah.
Great.
Because I fucking hate it. I hate when people say salmon. Which, I mean, whatever, like people do. So like I've just have grown to say it when I call it out. And so my sous chef Ken, he hates it. So now he started calling it Sal Bass from Seinfeld.
Yep.
And so that's kind of a thing we do. This actually really pissed me off. But FedEx, I had fish overnighted to me, salmon, and they put it under our stairs to where they delivered the third floor tenants packages. They didn't deliver it to the kitchen, so they said my package was lost. Well, no, it was under the fucking stairs.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I was pissed. I called for a day.
Ooh.
So like, obviously we threw it away and like, you know, fixed it. But like salmon under the stairs has been like a catchphrase basically for the kitchen the entire time now.
I love that. I love this. Like those little quips and saying the weirdness in the kitchen, the playfulness, like those things matter. And years from now, when your crew is running restaurants or out of the industry or whatever it is, they're going to remember that. You all 15 years from now are going to see each other randomly or connect on social and just say salmon, and you're going to fucking laugh and you're going to remember those moments. That stuff is so important. How do you, like, how much time are you spending to try to cultivate those things? Because clearly it seems important to you. And watching you interact with a little bit on social, like you're a playful guy. Like it seems like you're just always trying to have fun in the kitchen.
So I'm pretty relaxed. As long as we're making money for the owners, we're having fun, and everyone's having a good time. Like I'm a pretty relaxed person. Obviously there's a time to where it's like, okay, now we have to be serious. We have to get this shit done. Let's get it going. But for the most part, you know, so the specials, we'll just say the specials. I don't really fuck with the specials that much anymore. So I really try giving that over to the cooks, the sous chef. We don't have a dessert on the menu. We do special desserts of the night.
Okay.
My cook, Bridget, who's 18 and a major in horticulture, which we're going to be opening up a greenhouse for her eventually.
Awesome.
Yeah. So she does the desserts as of right now, and she's been fucking killing it. She just did this Polish plum cake last night, and it was a fucking smash hit.
I don't even know what Polish plum cake is, but I really want some right now.
Oh, it's awesome. So people don't like this word, but it was super fucking moist. It was delicious. It had like a plum reduction on it, some vanilla bean ice cream, some shortbread cookie crumble. Like, I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
All the things you need in a dessert.
Exactly.
I like it.
So,
I'm interested now. Now I'm like really thinking about the food, the people. You're highlighting the people, and I want to connect the dots because one of the other things in these last couple of minutes I wanted to touch on was your chef's counter, your chef's table that you interact with. We saw something that was like a picture with the guests. We're sitting at the bar there, and you get to have a relationship. A very personal relationship, a very intimate relationship. They're allowing you the freedom to do your thing and interact with them. And there's vulnerability on both sides of the equation. I think of Bourdain talks about cooking being about control and dining being about submission. You know, like they're submitting to that. Now I'm thinking about your cooks and them creating desserts like Polish plum cake. Sounds amazing. Pushing it across that bar and having that interaction with the guests. Talk about why that's important. And then let's get into like how it's shifting the way that the kitchen culture is being represented because you have that face-to-face.
Yeah. So the prime example is the movie Waiting, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's 8:50 and a fucking tent top walks in. Well, now the chefs are going to fuck with your food, right? No. So that's always been the fucking stigma.
Yeah.
You know, we have late guests all the time, and we still cook their food just like we did at 5 o'clock when service started.
They're willing to spend money, people. They're spending money.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, like, if you want to pay $600 to eat here with 10 people, great. come at any time you fucking want, and I will cook you food.
I'll stay open
You know
late.
what I mean?
For you. Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how every one of my my crew feels.
Yeah.
And so being able to see that and talk to my cooks, talk to my sous chef, talk to my dishwasher, you know what I mean? It's like, you know who we are. You can take a peek around in the kitchen and you can look. Like we're not hiding anything.
Yeah.
We keep shit nice and clean. We make sure everything's following the health code, shit like that. But like,
except for the salmon on the stairs, everything else though is good.
Yeah, literally anything other than the salmon on the stairs, it's it's fair game.
Mm-hmm.
And so we try to cultivate that. We have a good time. It's like a show. That's what I tell these people when they sit down. I'm like, oh, you decided to take the dinner and show this evening.
Yes.
That's good. So like, we don't act any different. I tell them up front, I was like, sometimes we cuss. I was like, I apologize. It's just kind of the kitchen lingo. I was like, but it's part of the show. It's like, you're getting to see a kitchen work as
people
a kitchen
watching
should
Gordon
work.
Ramsay and stuff, screaming at people, and that's like millions of people watching that. We're actually putting out food and having a good time. Every once in a while, we drop an F-bomb. That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I tell them up front. I'm a very upfront person. I don't do the bullshit. I tell each customer exactly how I would tell a cook. Look, when I talk about food, I'm passionate about it. So if I say, yeah, that's fucking delicious, I mean it's fucking delicious.
I mean it with everything that I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, I worked on this menu very hard, and we're actually going to put it on a summer menu. So it's, it's constantly changing. It's always evolving. And I wouldn't change it for anything right now.
As well it should be. Alan, really appreciate this conversation. I love the playfulness, the kindness, the way that you're empowering your team, how you're connecting with your guests, the hustle and the humility. There's bravado, and like, I love it. It's really important. I think thinking about the whole picture when it comes to the way that we interact with our food, with each other, with our guests, like with the industry as a whole, I think it's super important. So props, my friend. I think you're on to something, and I'm so glad we got to talk. So last couple seconds, anything you want to say to everyone before we let you go? Yeah, man. Save your waste. If you got trimmings on vegetables, make a goddamn stock. If you have meat that's getting ready to go bad or, is close, fucking cook that shit and donate it to a fucking food shelter. Don't throw anything away. There's so many fucking things you could use it for. You just have to take the time to fucking Google it, or you can message me on any of my platforms. I'd be happy to help you with anything. Just don't waste food. Food's so good to everyone. And I mean, like, you just can't waste it. There's people that go hungry every day. Throw that shit away. It's fucked. At Chef Alan Plemmons, hit him up. It was one of the things that drew us to you was your Instagram, I believe, said, don't waste food, be kind, and something else, right? Like, was literally traveler, Yeah, there you go. I think it's absolutely an ethos that we need to adopt. So really appreciate it. Great conversation. Very inspired stuff, Alan. I appreciate you. Hey, thank you. All right, take care. Cheers. All right. Awesome. I love that. Sedalia, Missouri, like, it's got the hustle. We touched on a lot of things that are really important to me, kind of having that grind and that mentality, but finding the balance, the kindness, and the swagger, empowering your team, connecting with your guests, like having the humility and the bravado, like all of it. Really, really great. Young guy out there doing things for that community there in Sedalia, clearly, and impacting whomever, myself included, watching across the industry, across the country. It matters. Unsung hospitality heroes. You guys know that is the whole reason that we started this show. Best Served Together, one of the channels I'm most excited about, because we are highlighting those hashtag unsung hospitality heroes. There are so many, millions across this country, and I want to talk to all of them. Connect me to more and more of them, please, please, please. Appreciate you as always. Cheers.